Kelly here, and I'm back with another video for Honeybee Stamps. This is the edited version of the live that I did last week. We are using the Lovely Layers coffee cup, the Lovely Layers coffee cup swirls, that's the add-on, and then the sentiment set is Sip, Smile, and Repeat. So I wanted to use these. You guys know that I'm a coffee lover. I thought that it would be really fun because they are such a good size to turn them into shaped cards. And so I'm going to show you how to do that two different ways to make them shaped cards. From the swirls add-on, the only part that I'm using for these cards is that whipped cream. The intention is when you do the like the cold coffee, how you like dump the cream in it and you can see it kind of swirling into the coffee, then you could do like multiple layers. So I'm going to cut out several of the cup itself. I think I cut out 2 of the whipped cream, though I only ended up using 1. I used both of the holders. And then this piece in the top right that you see there is actually supposed to be if you do a clear one, you know, where you could see a cold coffee where you could see inside of it, that would be the inside of the base of the coffee. And then it also has like a cute little holder. It has accessories you can put on it too. All right, first way you can turn it into a shaped card. This is a regular like half sheet of cardstock. I've scored it in the middle at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to lay the die over top of it, and I'm going to let it overhang just a little bit. So you can see there's just like the tiniest little gap. This is going to allow me to cut it and keep that hinge intact, that fold portion. And that is what is going to make our card base. Now, you may notice at the top, the lip is also hanging over. So when we remove this, we will have the shaped card base, but it won't be the cup in its entirety. We will just take one of the ones that are die cut and put it over top of that. So it still opens, but on the front, it visually looks like the complete coffee cup. The other way to do it, we will do it after we put everything together. So here I decided I was going to do 1 cool coffee and 1 hot coffee. So I kind of went back and forth about how to do it. I chose not to do like acetate and things like that to show the clear cup. I thought that this way would be probably the most approachable. So that's why I chose to go this way. So here I'm showing you the coloring the coffee for inside the cup, like the top of the cup. But I actually didn't even end up using this one because I ended up changing my cool coffee to the E20s family. And so I did not use it. But anywho, so as we go through here and do the coloring, I did want to say today, you know, because I do my Honeybee lives on Wednesdays at 1, we did a little sneak peek of the upcoming release. The upcoming release will be October 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the release will be in the stores right after that. So if you've been waiting for the Christmas things, they are on their way. They are next week. So here, most of the little hand protectors, like the little warmer things that you see on coffee mugs, are oftentimes made out of cardboard. So that's how I chose the color combination that I chose. I do wish that maybe I had gone a little bit darker with this, but I didn't. And so that's okay. I'll just know better for next time because Lord knows I'm going to make some more coffee cups. And then for this one over here, I decided to do it white. So with the white, I'm only adding just the shadows. So I'm using a C5. I'm adding shadows to the left and right hand side, and then along the bottom edge. I'm going over that with the C3, and then I will blend that out with the C1. I tell you guys this all the time, but you typically don't see it in my videos. I tell you if you get too heavy-handed, you can always go back in with your colorless blender to kind of get it to blend better. This time I'm actually going to show you how to do that because I did feel like my C1 was not blending as well into those embossed areas. And so I went back over it with the colorless blender, and as you can see, it really does work very well. So for the whipped cream, because I'm doing the lids in the cool grays, like the lids in the holder and stuff, I decided to do warm grays for my whipped cream so that they would stand out from each other. Now, as with all of Honeybee's Lovely Layers, there's lots of little embossed details which really bring the dies to kind of the next level. So I'm just following the embossed detail that they've given me and just kind of, popping them up with a little bit more color. So even though we're using warm grays here, we're still coloring just the shadows. We don't want our whipped cream to be gray. We want our whipped cream to be white. Sometimes even when we don't intend for it to be gray, like when it's not next to any other colors, it can look like maybe it was a little bit darker than you intended. But usually when you get it into the card where it's around other colors, it really does read as white, just with some shadows in it. So we talked about the live. I am going to go live tomorrow, actually with a fun little Halloween card. I know Halloween's not for everybody, but, I'm going to go live tomorrow at 2 p.m. with a fun little Halloween card, using some, products from Pretty Pink Posh. So, if you are a live person, I would love to see you there. Otherwise I will, just like with any of the other lives I've been doing, I will edit it down to be a video like this, where it's kind of more along that, 25 to 30 minute mark. And then that seems to be kind of like the preferred, which is, I guess what most of my videos are. So that's totally fine. This week has been I know it's only Wednesday, and I'm telling you, we barely made it to hump day. We barely made it. So we had lots of fall activities over the weekend, which I'm not complaining about the weather. I'm merely stating how strange it was. So we went to the same place that we went last year to do like the hay rides and they have like a little farmer's market, and they have pumpkins, and they have other they have like a corn maze and different things that you can do. So we knew we were going to take the kids, and we invited Eric's parents to meet us out there, but it was 80 degrees, 80 degrees, and it was October, whatever, 18th, 19th. It was bizarre. And then the very next day, like a storm came through and it was rainy, and I think it was like 40, like it was a low of like 47. The strangest. I don't know what Mother Nature is on, but it's wild. So we had, we went and did that on Saturday, and then, was it Saturday evening? Yeah, I think it was Saturday evening. Caitlin, when she got up from her nap, she wanted to do a little craft. So she and I went to the dollar store, and we did the little glow-in-the-dark ghosts. You just get a glow stick, snap it, put it in a white balloon, blow it up, and either draw a face on it with a Sharpie, or we drew faces on construction paper and then glued it on there. And for $3, even your preteen will have hours of fun with their glowing ghosts. So we did do that. And then, here's something else that we did. Was this on Friday night? No, it was on Saturday night. So last weekend before last, my kiddo, who is 12 now, was like, hey, we really want to get together at his buddy's house and watch a scary movie on Friday. A Friday they had off school. They were going to get together in the evening. And I was like, okay, but like, you have to tell me what movie you want to watch. Let's talk about feeling old, right? And he was like, well, I think we were going to watch like an older one. Like we were going to watch the original Scream. You guys, I saw that in theaters when it came out. And I was probably right around his age, honestly. Let's go back to the card. So here, these little stamps are included in the Sip, Smile, Repeat. And I thought that they were just like such a fun, whimsical way to like decorate the little cup holder. And then I'm not doing any shading at all. I'm just filling them in with like rainbow colors. And then I added some other little dots of the same colors to help kind of fill it in. And then I'm going to do my straw purple. I'm going to do the other coffee cup blue, but then it didn't feel like it went. You guys know I like to have matchy photos, so I ended up having to switch that up a little bit. So anyway, so he was like, we want to go over and watch this movie. So they ended up watching this movie. One of the other kids' moms was like, they poo-pooed Scream, which is fine. And then, so they went with Megan, which I guess it is about like an AI doll who's programmed to like protect this child. Anyway, I don't know. I stopped watching scary movies a long time ago because I'm old and my creative imagination and cannot take it. So anywho, so I was like, hey, I would very much like to have a movie night where mommy gets to pick the movie and we can do a spooky movie. Also, side note, while he was off watching spooky movies with his friends, we were at home watching Hocus Pocus, Caitlin and Eric and I. And now she loves it. She calls it the Witches movie, and we have to watch it probably at least twice a week, which honestly, I'm not mad about it. I think it's adorable. So anyway, so I was like, I would like to do a little movie night where mommy picks the movie. And he was like, okay, I guess so. Like, you know, it's so uncool to hang out with your mom now. So I wouldn't tell him what the movie was. Here is why I wouldn't tell him what the movie was. I didn't want him to get on his little fancy phone or computer or whatever and look it up, because the movie that I picked to watch was The Sixth Sense. And if you have seen that movie, you know it is more of a psychological thriller with the twist at the end. And so I didn't want him to look it up and hear about it, because the movie is like 25 years old. Like, it's old. And so we did watch it, and at the end of it, he was like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Why this? Why that? Why this? And I was like, yes, you have the same reaction of everybody else who's ever watched this movie, but that is what makes it so good. Now, I have discovered that I don't think that my son loves psychological thrillers as much as I do. I like when a book or a movie like takes me by surprise. I am here for it. Speaking of book club, so we picked a book. Oh, we have to go back to the card real quick. So here, I did the purple stopper, and I love the way that came out, but it was not vibing with the all blue cup. So I decided to do, you remember those old school, like, we're talking about old things, those old school like color changing water bottles and stuff, where like it would be blue and then you'd put water in it and it would be purple, or it would be white and then you'd put cold water in it and it would be blue. So that was kind of like what I was thinking, like, oh, I'll just add like a little bit of purple to the top and the bottom, and it'll look kind of like a little color changing cup. At the end, I end up, I think, coloring it even more with blue, so it doesn't really look that way anyway, but we tried. For the lids, like I said before, I'm coloring them with the cool grays so that they do look white. I am adding shading to the left and the right hand sides of the side bands there. And then the back of the mug is going to be darker, so we have mostly shadows there. But each of these sides stack up onto the other pieces, so that's why I'm not coloring like the edges, because I'm coloring the edge piece that's going to go on top of it. I hope that makes sense. So anywho, we did our first book club, and we chose Count My Lies by Sophie Stava, I think is what it is. And so that was the book for September, right? But then when we got, well, first of all, it was hysterical because it was book club was on Thursday, and my best friend from high school sent me a message on Wednesday at like 6:15, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but I'm still like 30 minutes out. P.S. she lives like 30 minutes away. So I was like, girl, it's tomorrow. And she sent back like LOL, and I was like, well, I mean, we're having spaghetti for dinner, like if you if you want to come. So she did come over on Wednesday and hung out and had dinner with us. And then, oh, here, now we're on to the actual point of the video. Stop it, Kelly. Okay, hold on. So here, now I've cut a piece that's 1/2 inch wide. I'm going to score it in the middle. So it is 1/4 of an inch on each side. Then I can fold it in half along that fold that we've scored. And now here, I'm kind of eyeballing it just to see how long it needs to be. I'm going to trim it off. And then this is going to create a hinge for our shaped cup. So I'm going to add, this is just some like rip and tear tape or whatever it is. And so I'm adding it to one side. You do want to make sure that when you're putting it down, that you are putting it with the closed hinge out. And so I'm lining it up with the edge of my coffee cup and pressing it down. Then I'm going to put the next piece of tape onto the top portion of the hinge. I will remove the release paper and then I will line up the cup that's going to be on top, right over top of that before I press it down. If you're nervous about not being able to line it up correctly, you could put a little bit of liquid adhesive over that dry and it would give you a little bit of wiggle room. But so now here, I realized that my hinge was up just a little bit too high. So before anything was set, I just pulled it apart, trimmed it off, and now we have our second shaped card. So you can literally make a shaped card out of anything with either one of these techniques to make your shaped card. And who doesn't like a shaped card? Even adults, they're fun. So now we're going to start putting it together. During this live, Molly was pacing like crazy and she kept trying to get under my feet and she was like kind of crying and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with her while still concentrating on what I was doing because, you know, we're live and all that jazz. So I actually ended up ending the live stream like after I got everything put together and finishing them off the camera because I was trying to figure out what was going on with her. Turns out she was totally fine. She just needed to go to the bathroom. That was the issue. So that's all right. I would rather have her be like, hey, Ma, than just be all over my carpet. So anyway, so the book club. So then when we get together, the next Thursday, I did like some sandwiches and chips. And my niece made like this fun little fall beverage with like cider and orange juice and like it had apples and oranges floating in it. It was really darling. But anywho, so we sit down to talk about the book and me, my oldest sister, and my best friend from high school have read the book. Nobody else has read the book. Nobody else has read the book, which honestly, like, we are not that judgy because half the time, like, once we realized like half the group didn't read the book, then we didn't even talk about it. So then in the Facebook group, we put out together, oh, here, let me talk about what I'm doing. So I spent all of this time trying to get this lined up only to realize that I needed to put my straw into that cut line. And so I have to remove it anyway. Right? It's fun. Speaking of that cut line, so there isn't anything that I can do to remove the cut line, like it's part of the die. But I would, I think probably, like tape it closed on the front, like in hindsight, you know, like I would tape it closed on the front so that way you wouldn't be able to see it on the back inside of the card. Also, I would probably cut a second cup to put on the inside of each of these to cover up all of those little, like the coloring marks and the straws or the stopper or whatever. Like I would put one back there just as a little pool cover up, you know, just so you can't see all the exposed bits in the back. Okay. So anyway, so we didn't even talk about the book. Then we go to our Facebook group. Everybody, you know, makes their suggestions or whatever. We end up voting for this book. It's called House of Leaves by Mark Danielewicz. I don't know. I have no idea. It seemed like a kind of a spooky book. My niece was like, hey, my friend recommended it to me. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, we'll give it a try. It's spooky season. We'll read a spooky book. Like, I'm not opposed. So my mother-in-law said to me, like, I cannot find this book anywhere. She was like, I've tried getting it on the, like from the library on my Kindle. Like she was like, I cannot find this book and I don't really want to buy it. And I was like, I don't blame you. I was like, but I did buy mine. I'm a very fast reader. I will read it and then I will give it to you and then you can read it. She was like, okay, sounds good. you guys, when this book got to my house, clearly I had not done any checking into the actual book, because it was huge. It was a chunker. Like, I am not even kidding you. So that is where I ended the live stream. And then here, this is just finishing up, the card. So I wanted the cold one to have like that little bit of like a frosty edge, like the condensation. So I'm going in with my colorless blender and I'm going around the edges to kind of like model up some of that color. So it looks like, like the inside edge of a cup, maybe like where it's a little wet on the sides. Something just a little bit to add a little bit of texture. And then for this one, I did add more purple to it. That's why I said before, it doesn't even end up looking like a color changing cup, because I did end up adding more purple to it so that I would like it better. So anywho, I try to read this book, and I am reading a little bit every day. And when I say that I'm a fast reader, like, I'm not bragging, I'm just being honest. Like, I can finish 200 to 300 page books in a day. And after a week of reading a little bit of this book every single day, I was on page 17. 17. There were so many storylines, and it was so thick, and like so many plot lines and characters, and you really had to like piece everything together. It was, your girl was not getting it. So then with the conversation with my mother-in-law, and then, my sister said something to me, and I was like, oh, did you get the book? And she was like, girl, I'm not buying that book. Like, we both know I ain't going to finish that book. And I was like, that's fair. Like, self-awareness is important. And so, once she told me that, then I was like, I'm just going to put it out to the group and be like, hey, like, is anybody else struggling? Everybody was struggling. Even my niece, who was the one who recommended it, everybody was struggling. So we decided instead we would just talk about the original book that not everybody read. And I will definitely check the page numbers of the books that we recommend in the future. So here, I added purple to the blue cup to make it look like they went together. And then I added blue to the purple stopper to make them look like they went together. And then, of course, I added some white gel pen highlights. You guys saw me do the little polka dot. You can, you can decorate them however you would like. You can use pattern paper. There's a lot of really fun ways you can do this. I knew that I was going to put my sentiments on the holder. So one of them I'm going to stamp and do in white. That is the one that the set is named after, that Sip, Smile, Repeat. And then the other one says, let's get caffeinated. And so I colored the background. That's just lazy crafting, the epitome of lazy crafting. I didn't want to have to get out a piece of craft cardstock, so I just used the brown that I colored it with and colored my cardstock. It works. And then I'm going to line up the coordinating dies and die cut these out. And then once I have them glued down, I am going to go back in, because I stamped them in that same Be Creative Intense Black ink, which is safe for alcohol markers. I am going to go in and kind of blend them into the background. Now, obviously, like for the one in the white, I'm not going to go through and stamp all the hearts and everything. Like, it would be illegible. But I am going to blend in that white just a little bit. And then the same thing with the Let's Get Caffeinated. It's clearly darker on the bottom, and so I'm going to blend that in with my markers. So yeah, so we were talking about the fall activities, which I guess we'll have to tell you about all of the fall activities at a later date. But anyway, so we did that, and then we carved pumpkins on Sunday, and then my daycare was closed this week. So my husband and I have been alternating take days off of work, and then my mother-in-law is watching her for the end of the week. Thank God, because it is a lot. It is juggling a lot. So for our little detail work, we obviously did the white gel pen. I'm using Stardust Stickles on those little hearts because glitter, why not? And then I am also using some glossy accents on my whipped cream for my cold coffee. I think these would just be so cute to like give, like coworkers or whatever, like little gift cards to like Dunkin' or Starbucks or Dunkin'. I just think that they're really super cute, and I think that they would be really fun for the holidays. So I added some gemstones, and then that's it. This is both of the cards. You may notice there's a little piece on the right hand side that's just has a little bit of repositionable adhesive so that they will stay closed for my photos. It's not actually part of the card, and I removed it after I took my photos. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate your time, and I will catch you on the next video or tomorrow on the live if you can stop by. Okay, bye guys.